Hi guys. I hope everybody can see and hear me. I had to kick all of my children out so that I could have it quiet, put the dogs in the backyard because, mom life, it gets kind of crazy. But my name is Maggie Hensley, and I am the star director of Team Ohana Hala. And I'll just explain a little bit about what that name means for me. So, the very first incentive trip that I ever earned, the first year that I was a consultant, was to Hawaii. And this is all part of my story, which is part of what I'm going to talk about. But Ohana Hala means family tree. And I am just very passionate about Scentsy being family and it being more than just a business. Because for me, yes, the money is great with Scentsy. That's been a huge blessing. But I would leave it in a heartbeat. And the connections and the relationships that I have formed from Scentsy are far and above the biggest blessing that I could have ever experienced in my life. So this morning, to kind of, calm my nerves, I went to Starbucks. And I didn't get a unicorn frappuccino. I get the same drink every time. I get a cinnamon dolce latte with an extra shot of espresso and 1 pump of vanilla. And yes, I know it's kind of high maintenance, but that's just how I roll. So, you guys all know you can drive 5 miles and pass by 6 different Starbucks. They all offer the same thing. However, the way that someone makes your drink is going to be different at one than it is in the other. So I personally drive by 3 different Starbucks to get to the one that I like because I know on certain days in the mornings my favorite barista is there. He knows me by name. We have a connection. We both have tattoos. We both have different colored hair. I don't know if you can really tell in the light, but it's kind of like a bluish purple. He makes my drink exactly the way that I want it. And he also knows on Thursdays I have my little Callahan with me, and he likes to have a happy birthday cake pop. He knows me. He knows what I like. So I drive past all the other Starbucks to get to him because he has made a personal connection with me, and that is important to me. And I want to support him. So there's other examples of that too. I could go to PetSmart to get dog toys if I wanted to. There's 3 other little boutique dog stores in my town. I could go there. But instead, I choose to drive 30 minutes to go to 3 Dog Bakery because it supports Christy Howard and her family and her story. And because I want to contribute to what she has to offer. See, it's the same with Scentsy. Thankfully, I love it that we all can offer the same exact product. Scentsy has rules in place that protects us so that you're not just going to go buy from whoever's having the greatest sale right now. We can all offer the same products. Scentsy offers amazing trainings. But the thing that's different is you. People buy from you for a reason. People join your team for a reason. They're not just buying Scentsy. They're buying into you and what you have to offer. Because what's different about each of us is our story. And it's super important to know that you have something different to offer. For a really long time, I literally wanted nothing more than to just be completely invisible. Like, completely invisible. I was a victim of sexual abuse when I was in college. And it's not something that I really shared with anybody, let alone my husband, until probably 2 or 3 years ago. But there's a lot of shame and guilt that goes along with that. I also was emotionally and mentally abused growing up. And so you pile all that on, and I literally just was in a mode of survival for years and years and years. I didn't want anybody to know me, really, like not truly know me, because there's this voice inside my head that said, if people know, they won't want to be friends with you. If people know, they won't want anything to do with you because you're damaged goods. And you know what? It was all a lie. But I didn't know that at the time. Because when I was 19, I met my husband now, who's my husband, and I got pregnant. And I had my son Deacon when I had just turned 20, and I had Deacon. And my whole family just totally abandoned me, all of them. My mom didn't want anything to do with me. She pretty much acted like I didn't exist. My dad would speak to me a little bit, but my siblings weren't allowed to talk to me. My mom wouldn't let them. All of my friends, I grew up in a private Christian school. And we were taught from a very young age that if you don't do all these things correctly, you won't gain favor with God or with anybody else. So I basically said, okay, people can't know then. Like, if they know, by example, with my parents and my friends, I can't tell people about who I really am or where I've been or what's been going on in my life, because then they won't want anything to do with me. So for years, I just wanted to hide because I didn't want people to get close enough to me to know that I had had my son before I was married, because I felt like they wouldn't want anything, they wouldn't want to be my friend. I literally had this voice that would say, once they know, they won't want to be your friend anymore. And it's not true. It's just not true. So when I said that it was out of character for me to join Scentsy, I meant it was very out of character. When I joined, I initially attributed it to the fact that I had a really sick dog, and I needed to get medicine for him. We had zero money at the time, none. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was very young. I had a 2-year-old and a very small baby. We had just bought our house. We had one car. Like, I had no business spending $99 on a kit, but I did. There was something that kept telling me, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I didn't even know my sponsor when I joined. So I had never owned Scentsy. I had never used it in my home. I kind of knew what it was, but I really had never experienced much of it. So I worked with a dog rescue group at the time, and they had a fundraiser, and there was a Scentsy lady there. And so I went and I smelled everything, and she handed me a join packet, and she was like, you should join my team. And I was like, okay. Didn't even really think anything of it. Several months go by, and it's still on my mind. And I was telling people, I'm going to join Scentsy. And my husband was like, okay, like, this is not like you. This is crazy. And so we got our tax return, and I was like, okay, I guess now I can join. But like I said, I didn't know my sponsor. I ended up joining underneath the lady that did the dog fundraiser. But that was the one and only time I had ever talked to her. We weren't Facebook friends. I didn't know anything about her. But I knew that I had a connection with her because of the dog thing. I actually looked up, you can go on the Scentsy website and do a zip code search. I went and I read every single story of every person that was anywhere close to me. I'm talking like, if you do a radius of the people that are around me, there's like 7 superstar directors within 5 miles of me. And I read everybody's story, and I just didn't feel a connection with them. I don't know what it was. I just didn't feel it. So I messaged the person that was originally my sponsor. She's not anymore. But I messaged her and I was like, can I join my team or your team? And she was like, yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't really know what that means, but yeah, you can. So I did. And thankfully, God placed me in this incredible team. And like I said, Christy Howard is now my sponsor. She's my upline, and she 100% has changed my life. I don't know how I got so lucky to have her as an upline, but I just immediately jumped in. And she's an incredible director, incredible leader, incredible consultant, but I can't honestly pinpoint any one thing that she taught me business-wise. Everything that she ever did for me was establish a connection. She taught me that I am good enough for this business. She told me that she believed in me, that I was worthy of the success, because that's truly what it is for a lot of people, is that they're afraid of the success. They're not afraid that they're going to fail. They're afraid of the success. And that's what it was for me. It was, okay, if I am successful at this, then people are going to know me, and they're going to know my past. They're going to know my junk. And back then, I was still very much believing the lies. I was running from everything. I didn't want to relive my past. My husband didn't know a lot of it. I was running from God because I thought I had disappointed him, even though I know it was not my fault. And it just was this vicious cycle. But through Scentsy, through seeing success, through realizing that my words have value, realizing that I can do whatever I put my mind to. I was able to graduate college while I had 3 children. I promoted to director. I've earned incentive trips. Like, I have accomplished a lot of things in my Scentsy career, but nothing that anybody has ever taught me business-wise has made a huge impact on my life. The way that, my upline cheering me on, and really and truly Allison Dalkey changed my life in 100%. 3 years ago at Spring Sprint, she did the keynote speech about, she had just found out that she was pregnant with Lucy, and she had baby A that she was fostering, and There wasn't anything that she was really teaching on. She wasn't giving any recipe for any secret sauce. She wasn't trying to like sprinkle any magical Scentsy glitter on anybody. Her message was figure out what it is that breaks your heart and run full force after that. And I literally felt like she was speaking directly to me, because from that day forward, my entire life was changed. Just a few weeks before that, I had heard my pastor speak on, he does a Sanctity of Life sermon every year, and he told us about Young Lives, which is a ministry that serves teen moms and their children. And I just told you guys, teen moms are my heart. I am one, and I relate to them. And my entire life has been this survival mode of I have to prove everybody wrong. I can't let people know what's going on, or they'll know. And through Young Lives and through, what Allison said, my entire life changed. I went full force into Young Lives. She really is what pushed me to own the fact that I'm a teen mom, own the fact that, I have junk in my past, and I am a victim of abuse. And you know what? That's okay. That doesn't make me a bad person. That doesn't have any reflection on me. But it took that encouragement, and it took that connection to then push me to have a connection with Young Lives. And really and truly, it has 100% changed my life. Because here's the thing. I fully believe that Scentsy gives us every bit of training that we need. I don't at all think that as leaders, our job is to train our teams. Yes, stuff like this and other, compiled trainings are amazing. Reunion is amazing. That kind of thing is awesome. But when you spend your entire energy, an entire week focusing on this training for your team, you're missing the connections with them, because connection is such a huge part of your, us as human beings and what we need. And you don't even have to know somebody personally to connect with them. Your story is what's going to connect you with them. Showing people where you've come from and where you've been, and that if you got there, then they can too. That is going to be more powerful than any kind of training you could ever give them, because the relationship is the important part. People choose to buy from you because they want to be part of what you have going on. So for me, my customers, there's several things that know what I'm about. So I'm a boy mom. I have 3 little boys. I use the hashtag wax mama on pretty much all my Scentsy stuff. My license plate says wax mama. That's kind of my thing. I work with Young Lives. I am, I've totally owned the fact that I'm a teen mom, and, that I have a past of just junk, and that's okay. Like, I've owned that now. But it wasn't until I realized that I had to own my story before I could impact others that everything changed for me. And so when you lead from your heart, and when you are able to form that connection with people, that is where the difference comes. Because people aren't coming to you because they want Scentsy. They want to be part of you and your business and your family and what you have to offer. And so when you can kind of set aside the pressure of, the training and, all that kind of stuff, everything else just kind of falls into place, because that's the important part. It really, really, truly is. The things that have made a big difference in my business have never been a specific training that I've been to, or a tip that someone's given me, or something that someone has taught me. It's been the empowerment of being able to own who I am and what I stand for and what I'm about. And it should be the same for you. Maybe you are a foster parent, or you've adopted. Maybe you have a special needs child. Maybe you love dog rescue. Maybe your mom has breast cancer. Maybe you live a nomadic lifestyle and you're passionate about that. What is it that you're passionate about? What makes you you? If someone goes, today, everything's so centered around social media. If someone goes to your Facebook page or your Instagram page in 30 seconds or less, can they see who you are or what you're about? Do they know that you want to spread hope and light? Do they know that you are passionate about X, Y, and Z? Or do they just see junk and negativity? Because we have enough negative stuff in the world. as Scentsy consultants, we have this vessel that allows us to spread hope and light and encouragement, because that's what's missing. And so that's why my team name being Team Ohana Hala was so important to me, because if nothing else, I want our team to be a family. I want them to feel a connection. You know, I spun my wheels trying to train and do all these things, but it wasn't until I really broke it down, showed them who I was, where I had been, what I was about, and, you know, really told them that I believed in them and that I see huge potential in them, even if they're just making little baby steps. It's about progress. It's not about perfection, because none of us are perfect. None of us. And we're all good at different things. And so I really felt like, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Christina Stainbrook that told me about, you know, really how she's changed her focus from training to connection. I really felt like I needed permission for that. And it has been so freeing since then. But overall, if nothing else, figure out what it is, like Allison said, figure out what it is that breaks your heart. Figure out what it is that you're passionate about. What is it that you can run at full force and, you know, give your all and make part of your story? What is already part of your story? And if there's something that, you know, you are really struggling with, Scentsy is a beautiful platform to be able to come to terms with it, to heal from it. Scentsy has been more healing than any kind of therapy that I could ever, you know, get into, because it taught me that I have a voice, that I have value, that I am enough, and you guys are too. So that is all that I have for today. I know that they said that we can answer some questions. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, I think that I'm getting close to time, so I don't want to run over and interrupt the next speaker. But I will for sure go back and read all of your comments and answer questions. But I love you guys. It has been a huge honor to be asked to speak today. Thank you so much, Allison and Jacqueline, and your teams for having me. Love you guys. I'll see you later.